It's time to place your bets. What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizapia, and welcome to the Betting Pros Monday Night Football live stream where we have not one game. Oh, no. We've got two games for the price of one on Monday Night Football, which means double the wagering, double the fun. And of course, Scott Bogman is here to help us break it all down tonight. Scott Bogman, we've got the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills locking horns. And then we've got a fun matchup with the Eagles and the Vikings. These are two good matchups.
Yes.
We got a Manning cast tonight as well. I just want to check in on you, though, and see how you're doing, because if there's two things right now I shouldn't say to you, it's probably the words Gunner and Oshevsky. That's probably the two things I shouldn't say.
I mean, it wasn't just that was one of many mistakes. It was a big play. That was a big one, obviously. Witherspoon not being able to cover Aguilar on that amazing catch. And just getting dominated by the Patriots offensive line for my Steelers. So your Patriots come away with the dub, but I think we both have to acknowledge that this was a slap fight and not a powerhouse matchup.
Like 100%.
So
100%. Those days are gone. Maybe we'll get them back someday, 5-6 years from now.
They say
Who
this
knows?
is the first game since like 2000 or something that a Steelers-Patriots game didn't have Brady or Roethlisberger in it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No fun. All right, let's get to something that will be fun, hopefully tonight. And obviously, those are the games that are on this slate for Monday Night Football. So let's start with the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are 10-point favorites in this one at home, as you would imagine. The number's 47.5. If you like the upset, it's the Tennessee Titans at plus 360 on the money line, but I don't see that being a very attractive wager necessarily. So let's break it down. What are your thoughts on the number 10, and what are your thoughts on this 47.5?
I think the 10 is good. I think I would take the Bills and take the over because I think they get most of this total, and I think they win going away, which actually, leads me to some game script stuff in favor of where I want to put my props for Tennessee tonight. Not really on Buffalo, because if they do get up in this game, then we're going to see a heavy dose of like Devin Singletary and Zack Moss and potentially James Cook getting a second carry after fumbling his first one last week. But you got to also remember that the Bills are an extra rest going into this game as they played the Thursday game the week before. So they get a little extra time to rest and recuperate and all that stuff, coming off a huge win too. Plus they're already better. So it's hard for me to pick against Buffalo in this game, specifically at home.
Yeah, it's also tough because the Tennessee offensive line didn't look great. We saw the offensive line for the Rams get shredded by the Buffalo Bills last week. So this could be,
and that was against
evening.
The Giants, Joe. Tennessee's line against the Giants without their two best pass rushers,
Yeah.
Ujulari and Thibodeau were both
those big boys up
game.
front for the Bills. Some big dudes. Gonna have to block. Let me tell you, man.
Yeah,
Oliver, forget it, man.
And Oliver looks like a different dude this year.
He does. He
just
certainly does. Speaking of different dudes, just kind of going through injury reports and things like that, you're gonna have Dontrell Hilliard out for this game for the Tennessee Titans. Kyle Phillips will play. You're also gonna get Josh Gordon, believe it or not, suiting up for this game. I don't know what that means, if it means anything, but that guy gets more chances than Ben Affleck at Jennifer Lopez. I don't know how many chances that guy could possibly get. On the Bills side of this game, we're still waiting for official word. Gabriel Davis questionable still, so we'll see what happens. I guess at this point, we haven't heard anything yet, so we are expecting him to play. Ed Oliver did miss practice on Wednesday, but it seems like that was more of a maintenance kind of thing for the big boy. But you laid out the game script pretty well in terms of injuries too. Not too much outside of Gabriel Davis. So we'll see. Gabriel Davis in a fantasy league, let's just throw that out to you. I know it's BP, but would you be grabbing Jamison Crowder, or would you be grabbing
McKenzie? Yeah,
right now?
I would take McKenzie for sure. Or Kyle
right?
Phillips gonna play, or if Treylon Burks is on your wire, because he's on a lot of wires right now. That's who I would pick, one of those guys, because yesterday they kind of made us read between the lines. It was Gabe Davis is expected to try it, but he's very questionable, which is like he probably ain't gonna play. So figure it out today. And so I think most people started somebody yesterday, but if you're waiting for today, it'd be McKenzie, Burks, Davis, one of them. Maybe even if Robert Woods is on your wire, that'd be a viable option. So most of the other wide receivers that aren't Diggs are probably on the wire, because Westbrook-Akina probably on the wire too in a 12-man. So decent options for you if Gabe Davis is down tonight.
All right, we've got a pair of undefeated teams, both 1-0. Taking on each other in the late game, which is really not much later. It's just at 8:30 p.m. Eastern instead of 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So
it's really not the late game; it's the other game.
It's the other game at this point. I mean, it's just so weird. This whole thing is you just looking at each other, going, "What's going on here? What was who was at the helm when they made these decisions about these game times? But the Vikings and Eagles are gonna be kicking off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern in Philadelphia. The Eagles are 2.5 favorites at home. The number for this game is 49.5. Now, look, if the Eagles defense plays the way it did, especially in the secondary against this offensive Minnesota with Justin Jefferson, they're in for a long night potentially. What are your thoughts on the 49.5, the 2.5 point spread as well?
I like, if you're giving me points with the Vikings after how good they looked against Green Bay last week, I'm taking them. So give me the Vikings plus the 2.5, and then the over. I'm going to go way over in this game. I think this is point for point. I think this is going to be a fun, high scoring game. The problem with this one is in it being on Monday night where everybody wants to bet it. I can see this going to a grinded out style of run because this is Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison versus Hurts and Sanders and Gainwell and Boston Scott, oh my, over on the Eagles side. So like I could see how this game plays out in different ways. I think Buffalo and Tennessee really probably only plays out one way. Of course, I thought that going into last Monday night, and Seattle ends up winning the game outright against Russell Wilson in a crazy game. That was so much fun, that one. So it was
well,
really
unless you're a
phenomenal.
Russell Wilson or a Broncos fan, it was fun.
Well, sure, but if you're just a regular old NFL schmo, then you enjoyed that one.
And that was the thing. It's funny. Last Monday we were talking about that game. When I left that pod, the one thing that stuck in my head was, man, this narrative is so strong, so strong. I was like, I feel like Seattle's going to show up for this game, and I wish I had put money on Seattle straight up. What was the money line on Seattle? It was like 300 or something. It was nuts.
It was a decent amount. The juice was definitely worth the squeeze there. Yeah. And I was so annoyed that I called out that Noah Fant touchdown, and Disley and the other guy scored. My logic is correct, but I couldn't get my guy.
Every other tight end, but the one that you picked. What are you gonna do? Right. What about well, if we like Minnesota with the 2.5, what do you think about them at the plus 126 on the money line tonight to win outright?
Yeah, I like that too. I mean, whenever you're picking a money line for a team that's getting points, you want that to be over 200. So it's not there, but I think, this line is so small that you can kind of say it's coin flipping anyway. So I would take Minnesota in this game straight up.
All right, we're going to go through and talk about the props for tonight. We're going to hit a couple from each game since we don't have as much time as we usually do for one game. We have two, so now we got to change it around. And if you want to take a look, you can check out the prop bet cheat sheet over at bettingpros.com, where it gives you the best lines, the best projections, and then where to make the best wagers. Again, that's at bettingpros.com, and click on that tab for that prop bet cheat sheet. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Let's start and go back to the Buffalo Bills game too. Ryan Tannehill, 213.5 passing yards. Do you like the over or the under on this one, Boggs?
I like the over on this one because of what we talked about in terms of game script. We both think that Buffalo is going to, beat the brakes off of Tennessee. More rest, better team, everything at home. Like, it's all definitely in their advantage. That means in the third and fourth quarter that the Tennessee Titans are probably going to be playing from behind and passing the ball a decent amount. So, and we saw a bunch of teams get in trouble with this. The Colts abandoned the run way too early yesterday. They also didn't have the ball that much, and ended up throwing a jillion times and never running Jonathan Taylor, which doesn't make any sense. So hopefully if you're Tennessee, you get the run game going, because that obviously Derrick Henry is the key to Tennessee winning, and it provides big hitters downfield. But I mean, I just think the game script is going to be Tennessee needs to pass for most of the second half. And with that comes, garbage time and yards. And I think we get that easily from Tannehill. So I'll go over 213.5 for him, even though I think he hit that in literally, I think that was the line for his games last year. That was like 50% of that, but he's also missing AJ Brown last year and Derrick Henry. So it was a weird year last year. Can't really.
Oh, look, I mean, it's kind of a weird situation now. I mean, Robert Woods didn't look good with him. Treylon Burks didn't get a whole lot of run. Like, I mean, he needs to hit this number. He probably should. The problem is, can they execute? That becomes the question mark. Treylon Burks, speaking of him, 29.5 receiving yards. Your thoughts on this one? You want to go over or under?
This one's dicey, but I'm going to take the over on this because of what we just talked about in terms of the game script. And I think Tennessee's going to be passing the ball a bunch in the second half, which makes me want to go over on this. He ran 13 routes, Treylon Burks did last week. He got targeted on 5 of them. And we also talked about, hey, look, this is why Malarkey got fired in Tennessee before Vrabel showed up, is not playing your best players. We see it going on with the Giants, with Kadarius Toney, being behind David Sills and Richie James and stuff like that. They got away with it with 2 wins. Tennessee's already lost the game. I don't see how you can keep doing that. You have to get your best players on the field. Treylon Burks is already your best wide receiver. He needs to be on the field more today. So I think they get him a decent amount of targets, especially at the end. And Burks is the type of guy that can take a screen pass 30 on one play. So I like this total for him for sure.
Perhaps Treylon Burks inspired by Garrett Wilson's game yesterday,
or Drake London's.
Or Drake London, everyone taking over there.
Or Chris Olave.
Yes, I mean, the rookies.
Bunch of good rookie wide receivers this week, man.
I keep waiting for Sky Moore to get recognized too. I said this on the pod today. I feel like if I drop Sky Moore, he's going to turn into Amon-Ra St. Brown just like last year. And I'm not going to do it twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Kyle Phillips, anytime touchdown. Anytime TD plus 425. Your thoughts on this one? This was one you handpicked out as well.
Look, I know he's a little banged up and stuff, but we did one of these for fun. I picked 3 for this game. I picked 3 for the next game. This is my fun one of this game. This is another, it goes to game script, and our prediction that Tennessee will be down and throwing the ball. Kyle Phillips had a decent amount of targets last week. His target share was 30%. Nobody had higher than, I think, 19% on this team outside of Kyle Phillips. So he's a little gimpy in this game, but let's count on that garbage touchdown. And you're quadrupling up your money here. It's plus 425. So this isn't a multiple unit or big cash bet. This is let's try it. Let's see if it pays out for us and quadruple up our money potentially. So that's my fun one of these 2 Monday Night Football games.
Okay, let's switch gears and go to the Philadelphia game with the Minnesota Vikings. I know sometimes we like for those little tiny numbers because they're really easy to hit. And let's start with Miles Sanders over the 9.5 receiving yards. You think he can get there?
It worked last week for Javonte, didn't it? Over 2.5 receptions. He had that at halftime. So I just think if you get in, a quick drill, or this game starts going point for point, like I kind of think it is. Like I said, I can see this game going many different ways, but there aren't many ways that I see this going where Miles Sanders doesn't take 9.5. So he could do this on 2-3 catches. So let's just hope he gets to that total, because I mean, this is what Miles Sanders does. He makes guys miss and takes it a long way. He's not getting 30 carries. So I like this one a lot. Low totals. We love those low totals, Joe.
Yeah. And if you got questions, you can drop them here in the chat. We see them. We're going to hit them right after these last 2 props here from Boggs. So let's get to Dalvin Cook, another small number, 2.5 receptions. That seems like a slam dunk over to me.
I know, man. It definitely seems like a slam dunk over. He played 77% of the snaps last week too. So, with so much throwing going on in Minnesota in this offense now, you think this is an easy one to get to. Another low total I like.
All right, let's go on the defensive side too. You got anything on the defensive end in this game that might perhaps pique some interest? We always talk offense, but you and I, we're the defense guys around these parts.
We are the IDP guys for sure. And right. Joe, that Barnett got hurt last week, and because of that, our boy Josh Sweat came in and he played in. Defensive linemen are rotated more than anybody, and he played 71% of the snaps last week for Philly. This is a good offensive line. In Minnesota, they like to screen, design quick screens and stuff like that. But you're going to let Jefferson get open. You're going to let Thielen get open deep a couple times at least. 0.25 sacks, even if him and Brandon Graham or a corner or linebacker or whoever meet at the quarterback, you can get to half a sack and get this total. So since it's 0.25. So I like Josh Sweat to get to the quarterback one time, because he should be on the field a decent amount tonight and the opportunity should be there for him. So let's go with that over 0.25 sacks for Josh Sweat.
Yeah, speaking of defense, I'm still very mad at myself for fading Aiden Hutchinson this week in my rankings. It was not good. For the first week, I thought, okay, maybe it's going to take a couple weeks. I was wrong. My God.
We showed you nothing. And, look,
I know.
Defensive linemen are the hardest to figure out, of all of them.
I should have given him more than 1 week. I just thought I saw some of the PFF numbers and they were like, "Ooh, this is not good. Let's give the kid a little
Overreaction
while."
season is still here.
Overreaction. There
The
you
first
go.
month is overreaction season, so we're all still there.
Well, let's hit some of the questions here. We got Sam Young. Do you fellas think you like the Bills at -7 the first half bet? I actually do like this. I think Buffalo's going to get up quick, and I think that playing catch up for the Tennessee Titans seems like a good one to me. In fact, I like this one more than even the 10. Like there could be garbage time. Oh, all kinds of wacky things happen in the fourth quarter. Just take a look at yesterday's games and yesterday's fourth quarter. It was 3-3 in that stupid Bucks game with the New Orleans Saints into the fourth quarter. We know what the fourth quarter looked like, that Baltimore game. Sometimes things get strange.
Joe, the only reason I wasn't
in this is how you lock it in.
The only reason I wasn't a giant crybaby yesterday is because even though the Steelers lose and Gunnar Olszewski and all that, the Ravens choke to Miami, the Browns choke to the Jets, and the Bengals choke against Dallas. Guess who's sitting atop the AFC North with one division win still? The Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-1, looking like one of the worst teams in the NFL, but still in first place. This is the Pinkman from Better Call Saul. How do they keep getting away with it? That's what it is.
Look, I didn't get away with this -7. Do you agree?
Yeah. I think Buffalo. This is they better be, because this is a whole game. This is a whole narrative I just laid out. Is Buffalo up and moving away into the third, fourth quarter, and Tennessee needing to pass to catch up. So yes, I do like Buffalo -7 at the half.
All right. Now, Michael is asking, Mikali Papadopoulos wants to know.
Nick Papageorgia from Yuma, Arizona.
Yeah, I know.
You remember that from Vegas Vacation? No?
I did see Vegas Vacation. Actually, no, I do remember that.
It's the fake ID that they gave.
Fake
Rusty.
ID. Yeah.
Mr. Papageorgia from Yuma, Arizona. Well, like anyone from Yuma has money. But
Mikhail Papadopoulos. Sorry, it's just small for me on my screen. You're playing DFS
from Athens,
Greece. Look at you.
Look at that.
Look at my boy. Well done. Mikhail wants to know, Gabe Davis playing tonight. Look, I mean, I would not be messing around with him in the DFS world, because even if he plays, he could end up being a decoy. I think you pivot to the other guys. This is a heavy Diggs game. Again, you saw how heavily Diggs was targeting that first game against Ramsey. You ain't seen nothing yet tonight, especially if Davis isn't 100%. I also, if you're playing this DFS slate, the other thing that I would mention to you and to anyone else listening tonight is also, I think a lot of people are going to go into Goddard. I would go to Dawson Knox tonight. Look for that touchdown potentially too from him. You get that cheap touchdown from Knox. That's a nice lineup builder tonight in those lineups. You could look at McKenzie tonight as a pivot as well, because you want to get Jefferson. I think you gotta make a play for Jefferson. I actually like the Jefferson stack with Cousins and fade away from the big quarterbacks a little bit. That allows you to get Diggs and a few other things probably and pay up for some stuff. But that's kind of how I see the slate today. And I talked about that with D-Bro on Friday on the DFS show as well. Sean McAllister has a question too. We'll see if we get Sean's question on the way out here. 2-team teaser tonight. So if you're going to go for maybe just a win outright, you like, or where would you go if you're going to pick the two?
I don't like teasing that much. I would. I mean, we're taking Minnesota and Buffalo. That's how I'm working it. So, if you can get fewer points for Buffalo to cover and more to give to the Eagles, or to the Vikings, excuse me, that's the way I would work it out.
Yeah, agreed. Oh, look, you can stack Buffalo tonight and go with Josh Allen too. But if you're going to, then you're gonna be prohibitive then of what you get. You're not gonna get any Jefferson exposure. And I think right now, the way Jefferson is, like if you're gonna hit pay lines and win some of these shorter game slates where he's on it, dude, I think it's that guy's world of world just living in it. I'm telling you right now. Like you remember Cooper Kupp last year? Guess what? Just copy and paste. It might even be better when all said and done. So I love it. We're worldwide, talking to folks from Greece, hanging out here. I love this. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Betting Pros over on the YouTube channel. Click that little bell till it goes ding for the notifications. Check out bettingpros.com for all of the latest information going on and all the updates as well. And check out that prop bet cheat sheet. Also, enjoy the games tonight. It's going to be fun. 2 Monday Night Football games. Get your wagers in early and get everything together. For Scott Bogman, I'm Joey P. We will see you next time, kids.